Hello folks, I've come out to Jasper this weekend to take advantage of the end of season camping here at Wapiti Campground. There's already snow on the mountain tops, there's snow in the forecast for tonight, so I've got my hot tent and my wood stove, and it's also Halloween weekend, so let's see if there's any spooky goings on tonight. Okay, so I've put some rocks on the snow skirt to keep out those drafts. I'm going to be placing the wood stove here overnight. I've actually got my dogs with me today, so I'm going to be using a camp bed, and there's also going to be a sleeping area just here for myself. So there we go, that's camp set up. I've got my camp bed in there for my little dog. I've got my own bed here. I do turn into a pumpkin after midnight, so I'm being prepared. One thing to mention about the wood stove, it's only being used twice, one for the first burn and then just one camp out that we did last weekend. And it seems to have warped quite considerably. Now, it's not a problem when I've been using it, it's not like it's letting smoke out or anything, but it is a little bit concerning that after just 2 uses it has warped this much. So certainly something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. I'm going to go and get some wood now and get some supper on the go. Now, the great thing about this campground is that they provide firewood for you. Look at all of this. Going to lay a base for the fire, and then I'm going to prepare some kindling. Okay, so the fire is now going. We had some trouble with it simply because a whole gust of wind came through and almost blew it out, so I had to kind of restart. But it's going enough now, so we can finally get some cooking going. We're going to be having steak tonight with some broccoli, and we're going to do butternut squash, seeing as it's a Halloween kind of thing. A fellow YouTuber we saw was using this tripod grill, so we're going to try this tonight. Looks pretty groovy. I'm intrigued to see how well that steak cooks and whether we can get it cooked to perfection. Finally we get to eat. So yeah, we got steak, butternut squash and broccoli. I have to say I'm really looking forward to tucking into this. While we're here, let's talk about ghost stories. What were the ghost stories about Jasper? And I did a little bit of research, and the only thing I can find is the story about Jasper Park Lodge, which is a hotel just not too far from here. And apparently it's haunted by a chambermaid, and there's also a husband and wife that apparently works there. and he's known to haunt the hotel and push people down the stairs. I don't know, I've never been to Jasper Park Lodge, but if you have, let us know if you've ever experienced any of those weird phenomenons. Anyway, I'm going to tuck into this now. Good steak too. Ah, it's very, very tender. It is actually very good. It's got that little bit of crunchiness just on the side. And you know that it's been cooked on the open fire. Just out for a little evening walk. It's pretty quiet around here. The dogs are all spooked out by the different sounds and the different smells. It's really quite... Let's go through here. Let's go. There you go. Well, I've now got a full belly. The dogs have been walked and the campfire outside is starting to die down. So I've come inside the tent and I've got the wood stove burning, ready to get things nice and warm here and set us up for a nice night's sleep. I've been joined by my little boy here, Wilson. He's actually going to be sleeping on the camp bed tonight, simply because I don't want him on the floor where there's a possibility that he might knock the wood stove over or burn himself on things. So he's up here where he's nice and safe. I am actually going to be sleeping close to the floor, simply so that I can feed the wooden overnight and make sure that we do keep things warm in here. Now, things haven't got particularly cold outside just yet. There is a little bit of light rain in the air. We did have a gale blow through earlier, and that certainly blew a fair few things over with that wind as it picked up. There's a possibility that we might be getting snow overnight. Whether we do get any snow or not remains to be seen. But for now, I'm going to finish off my beer, enjoy the rest of the evening, chill out for a little bit, and I shall of course see you all again in the morning. Hey, good morning everybody. Well, I can safely say that I had another excellent night's sleep in here. I kept the wood stove burning all night. It got a little bit chilly around about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I thought, you know what, if I'm waking up, I may as well keep feeding that wood in. So that's what I did. Again, the pine wood was burning through a little bit more quickly. I did stick more to birch this time, and I found that I was waking up every 90 minutes or so just to top things up and keep us warm in here. Wilson's had a great night's sleep. We've kind of been swapping places. He's been on the floor, I've been on the bed, and then we've swapped around because he's either got uncomfortable or he got too warm. But all in all, it's been a great night again. The trouble with this time of year is it is actually just gone 8 o'clock in the morning and it's still pitch black outside. So I'm going to catch another half an hour or so of just lazing around, and then we'll actually get up and have some breakfast. Well, we clearly didn't get any snow overnight. We did have a little bit of rain, but it's still pretty dry out here. But yeah, the mountain peaks have certainly got a dusting up there. What's interesting is that the only people who seem to be camping here this weekend all seem to be car camping. And there's only us here with an actual tent. Now, one of the things we've not yet mentioned about either the tent or the wood stove is how it copes in windy conditions. And certainly this weekend, we've had some gusty winds running through the area. And I was a little bit concerned that with the wind and the height of this chimney, that things were going to topple over, it was going to drag the tent down and all of those kind of things. But actually, although I could hear it rattling during the night, it did remain pretty sturdy along with the tent. Now, we have mentioned in a previous video that there are these tie-ins at the top here, and that's where you can attach guy ropes or something to secure it when things do get windy. And I'm not sure if you can see at the moment, but it is wobbling a little bit there as the wind continues to blow at the second. And another thing to mention as well is that earlier this morning, we did notice that there was some smoke coming out of this area here. And that should be sealed in actual fact, and everything should be coming out of the top, obviously. So it's just something to bear in mind if you do get one of these self-roll kind of chimneys, to make sure that those spaces are put in correctly, at the, obviously the right spacing. And because what you don't want is all that smoke coming into the tent. And talking about the tents, this was just one of the ones that we bought as a cheap one from Amazon, just to give us that introduction to winter camping. And what we've noticed is that there are a few little holes that have appeared here, probably from the sparks coming out of the chimney. But if we look at the stove jack area, you can see that there's some scorch marks here that are coming through. So that certainly highlights the need for us to invest in another tent at some point soon, particularly given the type of winter camping that we enjoy doing. Now, of course, when you are using a wood-burning stove, you do have to bear in mind all the safety elements. I've already mentioned how I made sure that Wilson was kept away because these stoves do get very hot. But of course, there is a risk from the smoke and other fumes that you might get in here. And I always make sure that I bring a carbon monoxide detector in here with me. This is pretty good. Thankfully, we didn't have any alarms last night and everything was okay. Right then, on that note, I don't just come to the mountains to camp out overnight. I also come here to run. So I'm just going to head off for a little 10-kilometre run, and then it really will be time to head off home. Hey. Hey, I shouldn't let you in there. Well, that's our 10-kilometre run complete, and I think Wilson's had a really good time and he's certainly appreciating cooling off in this river right now. I think he's also had a great time in the hot tent over this weekend too. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed joining us this weekend. If you have, please do consider subscribing and of course like this video. Thanks again for joining us, and I shall see you all again on our next adventure.